date. I'm sorry, I looked at the last ending date.
So, did I just misunderstand what we passed, or was there some breakdown in the
I'll
dates?
have to check into that, Larry. I know we had a lot of confusion on when some of those terms started.
Right.
And we couldn't find good record of when they did. And so Brian kind of came up with what he thought was the best guess of, but let me double check that.
Just double check, because based on this right now, we started them all over with a new 3-year term. Which I don't have a problem with it, but just want to make sure that everybody's on
Yeah.
the same page.
Any other?
I just wanted to say, there was a few corrections that I found.
Okay.
There was a weird print, which when I looked at it on my computer didn't, but when it printed in your packet it did. And also Nancy Westbreak, she pointed out to me that she was the member from the media here and not Amanda Clark.
Okay. Give her credit for being here when she's
That's
here.
right.
And reading the agenda packet.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
And on page 5 of 117, looks like sentence 5, the very last word, Lieutenant Shockley was the youngest in his should-be class, but it's written glass.
Okay, I see
And
that.
that's just a typo, of course.
Any other corrections? If not, with these corrected and finding out a definite answer for Larry's question, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Were there any public comments for tonight? I should have gotten that.
Not for public comments.
Okay.
Are for, looks like one rezoning. Let me get that.
Okay. Okay. The next item on our agenda is, we have GFL Recycling here. Randy, would you like to introduce him to the board and the audience? Well, we've met him.
So we have with GFL Recycling, we have Pat Lucy here this evening. Is that where you're at, Mayor?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Pat, if you would. He's with GFL Recycling, and he's here to give us a presentation on the company's recycling as they pick up our curbside recycling here in Nashville.
Well, good evening. Like I said, my name is Pat Luce. I'm the government contracts manager for GFL. I handle the state of Virginia and eastern North Carolina. Randy asked me to kind of give you all an update on what's going on as far as recycling. You hear rumors, that things aren't getting recycled, that everything goes into one big trash heap and all that kind of stuff. And our pickup of the recycling is actually a 3-step process. It starts with us, of course, picking the stuff up curbside for you all. We then take it back to our transfer station. Our transfer station is divided into 2 sections. It's really complex. Recycling's on the left and trash is on the right. So all that stuff that's dumped to recycling is then packed up into trailers and transported to Sunoco recycling facility. And I've got a short little video. It's only about 4 minutes long, but it'll show that from the time that we drop the stuff off at Sunoco and the processes that they go through as far as recycling the different materials.
Is there sound with it, Pat, or?
Should be.
I'm not getting any volume, but maybe you can narrate.
Yeah. As you can see, that's a big piece of machinery there. And it's taking all the stuff and it's pushing it into the first part of the sorter. And as you can see, there's a There is a mixture of trash and recycling in some of that stuff. You do get some residual of people that are putting in trash with the recycling. And then this is the belt that it starts with, and as you can see, it's that part's hand. They're going down and they're trying to sort the good stuff from the bad stuff, basically. Now you can see things in there that shouldn't be in there, like hoses and things like that. They can really bind up the machinery there. But this is a process here with some of the residual product. I can guarantee you the person that's actually narrating this, it does a much better job than what I'm trying to do here. But again, you can just see them hand sorting everything. They're trying to get the good stuff, especially the cardboard and the clean paper. Cardboard's one of the commodities that still has a lot of value to it. And then a lot of things that you'll see here too is, depending on the material, they'll start going through some magnets, that separates the metal and the aluminum and all that kind of stuff. But some of it's just kind of down and dirty stuff there with the hands. And again, now that's the initial sort stuff, and it's going through the process now of where it's getting separated by the machinery. You can see it getting zapped up right there. Any of the aluminum and steel and metal. There you go. There's a lot more beer cans in there than trash cans. You guys probably noticed that. You can see plastic milk jugs. And all that stuff that he's sweeping under there are plastic bags. Plastic bags are a real no-no as far as recycling because, again, it can bind up the machinery. You can see right here, this is some of the end product of which is baled. And then all of these products are then separated, and they're taken to market by Sunoco, and they've got different markets. There's some markets that are overseas markets. There's some internal markets, and they try to get the best price. We get charged a processing fee that we pick up for you, and we're also responsible for any of the residual. And when I say residual, that would be non-recyclable stuff. So sometimes we'll bring a load in, and if it has too much residual waste, we're given a fine. So we eat that. That's why it's important. We try to educate our customers. We have things online that shows what can and can't be recycled, and what we find recycling-wise, not just your municipality, but any of them. Sometimes there's what we call wishful recycling. You're thinking, well, geez, that should be able to be recycling. I'm gonna put it in there. It's not really trash, but there's just certain things that really can't be recycled, or if they can't be recycled, it's more that there's not a market for it at the time. So that's kind of the overview of that. And if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I have a few, but I'll just start with the education portion of it. Is there something that we can do as far as y'all providing just a one sheet that we can include in our water bill that educates people on what is recyclable and what's not? I know lots of people don't realize that plastic bags can't be, and where they should be deposited back at the store.
Absolutely.
Or things with food items on them that need to be cleaned off. So just like proper processes for how to prepare your recyclables and what can and can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be great.
I'll get that to
Great.
Randy next day or so.
And then if we could post on our website, Randy, a brief educational video that I'm sure you have on what can be recycled or not.
Yeah,
Like, do you
I don't have an educational video per se.
Does it say on there,
Yeah,
does it
but
give any
I-
tips?
Randy, and if, I could be mistaken on this, but I think we do have what can and cannot be recycled on your website
I
currently.
think you do.
Okay,
So that is there, but I'll definitely get you a sheet that you can
that'd be
send
great.
out
Someone
with
could
the
just
water bill, yeah.
put it up on their fridge and they know or don't know.
Yeah.
I have other questions too, but if anyone has questions about the educational portion, I'll wait.
Well, I have one question. Do you know what the percentage of our, in Nashville is that gets recycled and what does not?
I don't have that exact amount. I can give you a pretty close estimate.
What is it for the company?
Yeah, it's about, we run about 20 to 25% residual, meaning non-recyclable items that end up at Sunoco. The goal is 5% or less. So, yeah, once we start getting up into the higher figures, that's when we can be docked by Sunoco.
Where's your transfer station for this location?
Wilson,
Wilson?
yes, sir. And look, Council, you guys are more than welcome to tour our transfer station facility. If you guys want me to set up a time for you guys to go to Sunoco and look at their facility, I'll be more than happy to set that tour up for you too.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
my question or my concern is not necessarily around the educational piece of it, but I from time to time, I get a complaint from some of the constituents about their recyclables not being picked up. And I don't know if we have an opportunity for anyone to speak on that, but there are a couple of individuals that may be in the audience that may have that desire to speak to that. I know that it's been brought to our attention as a council and management, but that's a real concern, you know.
Not being picked up as far as a missed pickup?
Driving right past it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Along with that, the issues that we've had are noise problems where it's picked up at 3:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And then overflow too, where, or just trash being left in the street
Okay.
afterwards, where the driver doesn't come to pick up what's come out of the cart. So if anyone wants to speak to all
Yeah,
of those problems.
Well,
Okay, and I'm just taking some note here, so
Good.
if I can clarify.
I'll repeat myself later, don't
So
worry.
things coming out of the cart when
Right.
they've gone to
They don't
dump
pick it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody in the audience have anything you'd like to say about it? Your recycling, yes,
We
ma'am.
do have a hand.
Let him hear it because he's the one that can help us out.
Would you please go to the podium so we can,
State your name and your address.
you may have to pull the microphone down.
I'll write down your address too, so we can
Okay.
look up your account, okay?
My name is Diane Hall. The address is 419 Baker Street here in Nashville. I just want to say good evening to everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak this afternoon on behalf of the residents on Baker Street here in Nashville regarding the recycle pickup. This has been an ongoing problem with us since September of 2024, and they say it's regarding a cable line that was too low for them to come up to empty the bins. There have been many calls made to the town of Nashville regarding this, as well as speaking to the town manager, and was informed that it was due to the cable line, and that the company said it was too low for them to maneuver their truck to come up the street to empty the bins. It was a bit confusing to me because the garbage pickup comes on a regular basis every day, every week, and pick my garbage up, and they don't have any problem with it. I also have contacted the town of Nashville regarding this, requested that it be deleted from the bill because I went a whole month in October where the recycle bin was not picked up, and it stayed at the street for a whole month because they can pick it up. And when I called, my answer again was they cannot get up this cable line. First, it was Optimum Cable was the reason why the cable line. Then the next time it was Brightspeed was the cable line that was not high enough for them to get up the street to pick it up. And of course, I was told that I was told from the town of Nashville that they had been working on that Brightspeed had been working on the line, and they were working on that day that I called. Well, I checked and I didn't see anybody at the end of the street. I had my neighbors in the cul-de-sac where I live to check, and they informed me that they did not see anybody there. So I'm just here tonight requesting that a reliable company be chosen to get our recycled collection. They only come 2 times a month, and no once you have to wait a month to have it picked up. I had also requested, that they reimburse me. They said, well, no, it comes on the bill, that they couldn't do anything about it. And I said to them, I could not work a whole month and expect to get paid for it. But she said the town of Nashville, I talked with 3 people, including the town manager, and I was informed nothing could be done about it. So that's why I'm here tonight. Hopefully, they will get somebody that will come out every 2 weeks on Tuesday and pick up my recycle and take it back with them. Thank you for your time and your consideration and listening at me talk about this matter. I appreciate it.
Mayor,
I do appreciate the feedback. If you could give me that address again?
419
Uh-huh.
Baker.
Okay. I'm not aware of the situation with the lines. I don't work out of that branch, but I'll find out about it. And Randy might be able to fill me in a little bit on this, but I think you guys, for the trash, you guys use rear loaders?
Side.
Yeah. So, okay,
Your truck is taller than ours.
yeah,
We overlaid that street this year. We added 2 inches to it, and now the GFL driver says he's afraid to go under it for fear of snagging it.
okay.
One of the dump trucks did snag it when it was being overlaid, so it did hang low. It took nearly 3 months to get Brightspeed out there to do anything about it. In the meantime, I had the town crew just go out there with our bucket truck and prop it up in a tree to give more height, but Sammy said it was still too low.
Okay. So I'm not sure what the resolution on this is going to be.
I do.
What's that?
I do. I'm kidding.
If our trucks can't come out and pick it up because of a safety concern, I tell you what, let me get with the operations department to see if we can't figure out a way just to get another truck out there to get you taken care of for that street. But yeah, our guys are instructed if it's going to be a safety issue and it's going to pull lines down. Of course, we don't want to go that route. It's not a question of them just purposely missing you or anything like that, or anybody. It does sound like we've been in contact with Randy and his people. But let me see what I can do. I'll talk with the general manager of the branch and see if we can come up with something. Yes, ma'am.
I understand that, now the people further down from us on Baker Street, I'm not really sure if they got those or not.
Yeah.
But the 3 of us in the cul-de-sac there.
Yes, the cul-de-sac.
We're the main ones.
Okay.
It seems like they could, get out of the truck and push a barrel or something up there just to take it out and put it in the bin.
Okay.
Because it's only 3 of us up there.
Okay. I mean, that sounds reasonable to me too, so we're not unreasonable, so I will definitely get with them. And that's 419 Baker Street, and it's the cul-de-sac.
Yes, sir. It's not just my.
Yeah, there's 3 back there, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, I appreciate it.
Anybody else?
Mayor, if I wait.
Yes.
Mr. Lucci, let me offer this suggestion.
Yes, sir.
If your driver comes out, because I've had several calls from residents on Baker Street, and every time I get calls, I personally go around there to put an eyeball on to see it. I haven't been around there trying to measure the height on a truck, so if he says it's too loaded, I have to take him at his word. But if your driver finds out that he turns on Baker Street and cannot get to the cul-de-sac to pick those recyclables up, then I would suggest that he not just continue on his shift, but that he contact the town office and let them know that day so we can send one of our guys out to at least pick up the recyclables from that house. And another item that comes to mind, and she mentioned it earlier, was the 3 o'clock run. I see in our contract here, we've got here, it's not supposed to start until 6:30. 3 o'clock in the morning is a whole lot earlier than 6:30.
Yes.
And it wakes up the entire neighborhood, because when nightfall comes and nothing is moving, that garbage truck echoes all the way through town just about. So and we've complained several times, and when I say several, I don't mean two. We've complained several times about this garbage truck coming through at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, sir.
And
I
I don't know what we can do to correct that. Well, I do. I know what I would do to correct it, but that's your responsibility. But we do not need to have a contract that says 6:30, and we're being woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I've got plenty of reasons for it, but our problems aren't your problems. It's 6:30 by the contract. That's what it should be. That's what it will be. And it's anyway. I won't bore you with some of the reasons, because it doesn't matter in the long run. It's got to be
Right.
6:30.
I just want you to fix it.
I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
One of the issues with that is that it could be 6:30 that they're picking up the residential. However, the truck that's coming to pick up for the elementary school is a totally different contract. However, they are still violating our noise ordinance. And I know that one has been attempted to be addressed several times as well.
That's a dumpster, by the way.
Yes,
That's the
it's a dumpster and it's
Dumpster.
very, very
I think
loud.
they corrected the individual homes.
Yeah, I was aware of the recycling one, but not the
The dumpster at the school.
dumpster. Yeah, the dumpster's the loudest of all.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's loud.
I'm not scooping you on that. I understand that. Okay.
One of the issues that we brought up was the overflow. So I do see in the contract that it states that if you do have occasional overflow, as long as we put it next to the can or on the can, that it will be picked up. In my experience, I've noticed when it's next to the can, it does not get picked up. If it's on top of it, it will. But there are issues where this isn't when it's coming out just in the scoop. This is when it's coming out because people have too much in there, which I do understand per the contract is not your responsibility. But if they could just call the town when your guy looks behind him and sees a trail of cardboard boxes, to call the town so that we can come through and pick up. Because I know on Golfers Lane, I just got a video today. It was, I think, 6 out of the 10 or 8 out of the 10 recycling bins had just trash all in front of them because of things falling out. And it's left to the residents to figure out how to get it all out.
I'm sorry, did you say that was Golfers Lane?
Yes. Mhm. And then I guess one of my other questions is, as far as recyclable materials, per 1.4 in the contract, I don't see anything about cardboard and larger cardboard boxes. I know come Christmas time, there was a lot of those. Is that something that you all pick up, or is that an undesirable item?
Well, everything's supposed to be in a, in a bin. Maybe that's something that we could address, maybe like a special pickup at Christmas to come around and pick up cardboard. Because cardboard is, that's a desirable commodity,
Okay.
to answer your question. It's not something we want to ignore. Plus, we don't want it to be all over your town. So, let me do a little research on that too, to see. That's probably the biggest time that you have an issue
Right.
with that is that whole Christmas, probably that 2-week period.
You probably got plenty of Amazon boxes on the
Yeah.
side of the street.
That's right.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So is there a way
Do it at my house, anyway.
to have an overflow box like at the town hall or the library, if someone had extra that they could carry it and put it there? Is that something we can work out?
Yeah, that would be up to you guys.
I
Yeah,
have a
we
feeling
can,
it
we
would
can,
be dumpsters full.
It would.
It would be so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the only problem with that, if you don't have something manned, it just becomes another trash can.
understand.
Yeah, and especially the word will get out that it's there, and you'll start seeing stuff in it, around it, so.
Nobody will collect the boxes, so it'll
Just throw it in there.
it'll fill up real
Well, the
quick.
county charges us individuals to go there.
Yeah,
to the-
yeah, I understand.
Any other questions for Pat?
Just so I can recap from my notes, make sure I've got everything to address. We're gonna look at the cable lines on 14 Baker Street. That's a cul-de-sac, and there's three houses there. Gonna find out a little bit about what happened at Golfers Lane. I guess this was the last pickup
Today.
today. Yeah, I'll look into that for you, and we'll see what we can figure out as far as overflow, and then of course the noise ordinance, that should be a no-brainer for us. My apologies for the noise. At this point, that's all I can do until we get it taken care of. I had a lovely conversation with one of your retired teachers about the noise earlier before the meeting starts. So I I had a nice conversation. So.
When's our contract, timeline?
September of 2025.
Okay.
Well, you can't do anything about something unless you know about it. So now you know about it, so we'll give you a break.
No, look, I like hearing good and bad, and sad to say, most of the council meetings and this kind of stuff, it ends up being some bad. But hey, that's all a part of it, and it's like you said, if we're going to have hiccups, it's all about addressing them,
Right.
and taking care of it. But I appreciate everybody's time, and I thank you for it.
And we thank you for coming out.
Okay, all right,
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot.
The next item on the agenda, I'd like to recognize Chief Joyner, our Public Safety Director, the Fire Department recognitions.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Last month we recognized the police department, so I wanted to take this month and recognize the fire department for the good things that's happened over the past year. This time I'm going to ask my Assistant Chief, Jason Edwards, to come up. He's going to do the first part, and then I'll do the second part.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Madam Mayor, members of council, this evening we'd like to recognize the staff who were deployed to Western North Carolina during the response to Tropical Storm Helene. As we all know, Tropical Storm Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane and then made its way across Western North Carolina, ultimately dumping 24 inches of rain in some parts of the West. They had historical flooding, landslides, which devastated communities just beyond imagine. Before the storm hit, state resources were prepared, ready to go, strategically placed in the region. And those crews actually went to work with the local responders there, making search and rescue missions and whatnot. So a couple of days into the event, of course, North Carolina Emergency Management, and with a coordinated effort with OSFM, decided to do an all-call throughout the entire state for response. So on October the 6th, the Nashville Fire Department proudly answered the call by deploying four-person team to the town of Hot Springs. Our team partnered with another four-person team from Mount Holly Fire Department in Gaston County, worked for 7 days assisting emergency management. It was an emergency management team from Lenoir County, I believe. And during that time, they assisted with humanitarian efforts, answering calls, helping the National Guard with search and rescue missions on finding personal belongings along the French Broad River with the banks there. So we just wanted to bring these guys up, the four-person team and the ones who provided coverage while we were going. So if you guys would come on up. We are proud of this team. We're proud of their efforts. When we asked who wanted to go, we had no hesitation, no discussion about it. They were ready to go. Left their families, gone for 7 days, unknown what they were going to be facing, cell phone service, power outages, what they were going to eat. So we just, like I said, we're proud. We're proud of their efforts, and so we've got Battalion Chief Lee Coppage.
Wait just a minute. I'd like for the council to come down and just shake
Come
their
on.
hands as
Come on around.
you recognize them.
Yeah.
And I'll come down, then we want to shake the hands of the next one.
Yeah.
Come on.
So we've got Battalion Chief Lee Coppage, Engineer Thomas Mosley, Engineer Wyatt Wood, and Senior Firefighter Benjamin Woodleaf. This was our 4-person team.
Thank you so much. We love you. Appreciate you. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Chief Coppage. Get together for a picture.
I'll come on this side. Thank you so much.
All right, so that was our 4-person team. While they were gone, obviously we had some open slots. We had some holes that we had to fill to make sure that our services continued. So we're proud to know that we were able to bring back some staff to cover shifts amongst working their own shifts. So Battalion Chief Scott Whitford, Lieutenant Chris Sykes, Engineer Matt Bailey, and Firefighter Dylan Hinkle, which I do not believe they were not able to make it tonight. They were the ones who came back to ensure that our home was safe and our level of service was not altered. We were still able to answer the calls here just like we always are. So finally, I just want to say I've got personal experience with deployments. I know Chief Joyner's got some personal experience with deployments, working with these crews, coordinating crews across the state. And Chief didn't know I was going to do this, but seeing the impact of this and seeing how teams like this will be able to come in to give these guys relief, it's unimaginable, like I said earlier. So I just want to thank our chief for allowing our department to go out. Manager Lanson, thank you for allowing that to happen. When we discussed it from the very beginning, we decided that we would take a I don't know the word I'm looking for, but we took a very common sense approach to it to make sure that we did not leave our home unprotected. So, Chief, thank you for your leadership. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank them all personally, the ones that backfilled and the ones that went. They spent 7 days out of there, and they were in not very good living conditions, but they went through it. Now I want to recognize some other ones that's had achievements. This year we had 2 staff members that completed over 72 credits through Nash Community College. They've got their fire protection technology degree and their emergency preparedness technology degree. Both of them completed it. So they have associate's degrees now in both things. They did a minor in both of them. I mean, one, and then they got the other one. Lieutenant Richard Wester and Fire Engineer Harrison Lancaster, if y'all would come to the front. Both of them have completed their associate's degree in college. We also had firefighter Jeffrey Drake just to finish the fire academy. He was our first hire that we actually put through a fire academy. And I would like to say he finished at top of his class in academics.
Who was that?
Firefighter Jeffrey Drake. He's not here tonight, but he finished up, graduated December the 12th. So now I want to recognize some years of service. I've got some people here, and what we'll do is we'll have them all come up, at one time, and that way. For 5 years of service to the Nashville Fire Department, Fire Engineer Braden Wood. Fire Engineer Lewis Smith, but Lewis is a little bit different from all of them. He started the fire service in 1987. He retired from Rocky Mount Fire Department, and then we were scooping him up for 5 years and more. So I want to thank Lewis for what he's done. 20 years of service to the Nashville Fire Department, Battalion Chief Lee Coppage. Firefighter Brian West. I don't think Brian's here tonight. The next two are really, they show the true meaning of a volunteer, because both of them are volunteers in our department. With 40 years of fire service to the Nashville Fire Department, Haywood Edmonds. Haywood, before you go up there, here. And we had one other one. He's not here tonight, and this one is extremely special to me. This person has 50 years in the fire service at Nashville, Red Oak, and West Mountain. He started at West Mountain and Red Oak, but this one's unique. He's battled cancer 3 times in his career in the fire service. He's not here tonight, but that is Jerry Sherrod. We presented Jerry with a helmet back in July, wasn't it, Jason? At a dinner for him, but we presented that Jerry with that 50-year helmet. But I would like for everybody to give them all a round of applause again. Just a fireman?
Just a fireman. You're through with us.
Yes. Can't be all of them.
Thank y'all, Captain.
Thank you. And thank all our wonderful firemen. We do appreciate you. And the long-term volunteer. Thank you so much. The next item on our agenda is the WNCP Covenant Amendment. Randy?
Mayor and Council, this evening we scheduled a meeting of the property owners of the West Nashville Commerce Park here in Nashville to amend the covenants to remove 3 parcels of land from the covenant's jurisdiction, and then to approve a covenant amendment removing those 3 parcels. So at this time, we will have that meeting. We have with us this evening the town of Nashville is an owner of property in the West Nashville Commerce Park, along with Brandon Capps and his NC Fabrication Company, Seth Balance, who is the owner of the Asteria Labs building, and Quayne Mann with Legacy Development Group LLC. So let me go to those covenant amendments quickly on the agenda. So this, on the screen there, you can see the West Nashville Commerce Park property. And those 3 parcels are the ones that are going to be removed. That is property. The town is under contract to sell to Project Sprout, Will Carnegie, which we've already executed a purchase and development agreement with Mr. Carnegie on that, and one of the requirements of that is that these 3 parcels be removed from the jurisdiction of those covenants. Those covenants have very specific requirements of what type of land uses can be done on those properties, and what Mr. Carnegie is proposing is really a mixed-use type of development, especially on the north property north of Cook Road, and those covenants would prohibit him from being able to do that. So he had asked, we'd had a previous meeting with the covenant, or I'm sorry, the property owners, and there was agreement at that time. So I guess at this time, Mayor, we could ask each one of the property owners that are here this evening if they are agreeable.
I have 3 that have signed up, I believe, to speak during this.
Those are not property owners. Those are residents.
Oh,
the
that's
rezone.
for that rezoning area. Okay, excuse me.
But
I stand corrected.
unless, Emily, do you have a different way specifically that, Raz had some instructions on how we were to do this? You must call the meeting to order the declarant, which is the town, and this meeting piggybacks with our regular our regular council meeting. The meeting requires notice shall be given to the property owners, a minimum of 30 days in advance. And I got an affidavit or acknowledgement here signed by all 3 property owners that they did receive their notice of this meeting tonight, 30 days in advance. At the meeting, there must be a quorum present. So with those 3 property owners, plus the town as a property owner, and the town as the declarant of the covenants, we have all 5 parties of these covenant here this evening with us for this. And it says the action on the amendment requires 2/3 majority vote of all current property owners and the declarant. And the amendment consists of amending these covenants set forth what we already acknowledged, that those 3 properties would be removed from the covenants. So I guess at this time, Brandon Capps, if you would give your vote to the council, if you're in agreement with removing these 3 properties or not.
I don't have a problem with it, as long as it's not gonna affect what I'm doing, and as long as our covenants is not changing, I don't have a problem.
And Seth Balance, same thing. And Quay, you're in agreement? Then the vote is up to the council members.
Okay, so at this time, I would need to hear a motion and an amendment to the West Nashville Commerce Park, WNCP covenants, that removes parcels 3034882-14.5 acres and 336591-35.24 acres and 315263-3.13 acres from the WNCP if purchased by the WEK LLC and Ripe. So do I hear a motion that we approve this?
Mayor, at this time, I would move that we approve the covenant agreements to remove this from the standing covenants, being that all parties have agreed to this removal.
Do I hear a second?
Just to clarify before you make it official, the town technically has 2 votes, one as a property owner and one as a declarant. So if you just want to modify that to say, I assume the vote will be the same for
Okay.
both, but
So
as
include
declarant and
owners
property
in the
owner.
town.
Run that by me again?
So if you wanted to restate, just you're voting as declarant and property owner.
Okay.
So you technically have 2 votes as the town.
My motion is to be honored as a property owner and as a declarant,
Declarant, yeah.
one of them.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we have to take a second vote and say aye? Just teasing. All right, it passes, it's approved. So the next item on our agenda is the new business, and it's 7A, which is the Nash Central annexation of Nash Central Middle School.
So the Mayor and Council, we have received a petition for annexation from the Nash County Board of Education to annex the Nash Central Middle School, which is approximately 28 acres, pretty much in the middle of town. And at this time, the council can proceed with that annexation process with a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-01, directing the town council to investigate the sufficiency of that annexation petition.
So this, we're just giving you permission to investigate.
All right, did anybody have any questions regarding that annexation petition.
Are they on our water?
The
Yes.
middle school is on town water and sewer, and presently they pay out-of-town rates, which are twice the rates for water and sewer in town. So by annexing them, the town will be reducing some of our water and sewer revenue. But we also, by annexing them, then they will also be subject to our stormwater management fees. So if you wanted to see this, I have prepared this. Let me hand this out quickly.
They don't pay tax, correct?
No,
No.
no, it's tax neutral. They're government, they don't pay taxes. Well, property taxes anyway.
Now, Randy, when you were just giving a brief overview, then you said that school was located in the middle of town, just so there's no confusion to the public. We're talking about Nash Central School out 58, not the one downtown, not the one in the middle of town.
I think it just means surrounded by town property.
Yeah.
Surrounded by town property, but
Yeah.
still not in the middle.
So really, we're just giving you the permission to approve to investigate tonight. So, with this information, and we can look over it, and while you investigate, do I hear a motion to approve resolution 2025-01, directing the town clerk to investigate the sufficiency of the Nash County Board of Education's voluntary annexation of the Nash Middle School at 1638 South First Street?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, you can investigate. Now, this next item is the tree board. Corey?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
So the first item I have for you tonight is the tree board, and I do want to give a little history of where this came from. In 2019, when the town first established a tree board, the membership on that board was the same members as our Parks and Rec Advisory Board. And in 2020, ultimately, the Parks and Rec Advisory Board determined that it would be more beneficial that we establish a separate tree board that had members of the public that had more knowledge on trees and those type of subjects as we went to develop our town's tree ordinance, policies, procedures, et cetera. So late in 2020, we did establish that tree board with a separate membership. Since then, we've established our tree board. We've maintained our Tree City USA requirements, got a lot of excellent things done, and I certainly appreciate the members that served on that board since that time. Some of them are here, Elaine Robertson, Lee McCollum, and Donald Street. So since that time, we have one vacancy on that board, and then our other three members are the ones I just mentioned. Donald Street and Elaine Robertson, they have served 2 consecutive terms, and will have to take a break from serving on that board before they could come back. Lee McCollum just completed his first 2-year term. So with talking with them and the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, we thought it would be beneficial to essentially merge those boards back together, have the same members serve on both boards, and have those responsibilities fall back onto the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Advisory Board. And we do have an ordinance 2025-01 that makes that change to the ordinance and allows us to do that. And I will be glad to answer any questions you may have on that.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
So I know that this was, the Tree City USA or town, whatever it's called, was very important, and there was rules and regulations. So this doesn't affect any of those.
It does not. We do send them a copy of our tree ordinance, and we will keep, all of our tree ordinances in that language. The only thing that's changing is the membership. So the membership of the tree board will just be the same members that are appointed to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve ordinance 2025-01, having the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resource Advisory Board members serve as the tree board members?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resource Advisory Board.
Thank you. Part two. So on our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Advisory Board, we have 5 members, 2 of them which their term expired as of December 31st of this year, Kiana Walston and Jackie Rogers. This was Kiana's first term, and she has requested to serve another 2-year term on that board. And for Ms. Rogers, that was her second 2-year term. So again, they can only serve 2 consecutive terms and then take a year off, and they can come back if they would like to do so. So what we are requesting tonight is for Lee McCollum, which is here tonight, if you don't mind waving to the councils, who served on our tree board for 2 years. We are requesting to appoint him to a 2-year term on the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Advisory Board. And unfortunately, Ms. Walston was not able to be with us tonight.
Any questions for Coy? If
I
not,
have a general question about this. We talked about this last meeting, but I really think we need to be consistent on all these boards and the terms and how they would stagger. It seems like we're all different. Every one of them is different. And I think there needs to be some consistency in the town with each board.
any other comments?
Mayor,
Yes.
and we also discussed the last time we went over this item, anytime we have anybody coming on, being reappointed or coming onto the board, that they be present at the meeting so we can all become familiar with each other. I'm not just looking at a name, I'm looking at a person. And Mr. McCullough, I appreciate you showing up tonight. Thank you very much. But I thought we agreed that we need to have
Is it
people
because
here
this
in
is
person.
Kiana's second term? So did she show up for the first one, maybe?
She did show up for the first one, and
She did.
Kiana did plan on coming here tonight. Unfortunately, like I said, she was, last minute, she was unable to. She's more than willing to come to the February meeting if y'all chose to delay her appointment until then. That's up to the council.
I think if we would do that, we'd be in line with what we agreed on the last time. So go ahead and we move to approve Mr. McCullough and hold off on
Could you put that
the
into
second appointment for Ms. Watson.
a motion
That is a
to the
motion.
second term? Okay, you put it into,
Second.
okay, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is West Church Street vacant lot purchase.
So, Mayor and Council, Tim Matthews owns a 66 by 223-foot vacant lot on West Church Street. The town inquired about purchasing it from Mr. Matthews, and he is willing to sell it to the town. The price is $110,000. Attached is a purchase agreement between the town and Mr. Matthews for that property. We can make this purchase with the $134,000 we received from the sale of Lot 4 in the Nashville Business Center earlier this year from Build Labs.
Any questions for Randy?
I have two. So on page 42, on top, they've checked I as Exhibit B, and either we didn't get B or there is no B.
Bill, what do you think that Exhibit B was referring to?
Well, there's Exhibit A, but there's no,
Which is the map.
which is the map, but there's no B.
And then in section 18, it says this agreement is freely assignable unless otherwise expressly provided in Exhibit B, so I don't know if it matches up with that.
Well, the signing would be on us because we'd be buying it and signing it. We wouldn't assign it to anybody. So I'm not sure what that would be. But it's basically saying that there's a exhibit.
There are no additional terms to this purchase, so I think that box got marked in error.
Next question.
The next question is, I noticed it's on a Realtor form. Is there a Realtor fee that we're involved with? Or
No, there is no Realtor fee.
So the Realtor just did it for free.
After we use this, Raz commented that he has a simple 3-page one we will use from now on instead of this standard Realtor one. I'm not sure where the town ever got this one at, but.
Well, the guy's name's on there, on the bottom. But I will make sure we're not having the fees to pay. If they are, then Tim will pay
No,
them.
there is no fees, realtor fees.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as long as there's no fees and then we figure out what B is.
Larry,
If there is any.
did you have a question?
Randy, did we ever get any feedback from the adjacent property? Yes or no?
Not a yes or a no yet, no. They're still consulting with each other, the owners.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the purchase of Tim Matthews' .342 acre lot on West Church Street, parcel number 001654 for $110,000?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Okay, the next item on our agenda is Planning and Development Director, nuisance abatement hearing for 621 Western Avenue.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and Happy New Year to everybody. As always, it is an honor and privilege to speak to the council and the fine citizens of Nashville in the walls of the council right here in Nashville. As you can see, we have 4 items tonight. They're the actual items on the docket, but we only will have 3 due to L&K Development and NCLLC did call yesterday and withdraw their rezoning request from me and Town Manager
That's
Lansing.
number G.
That's number G. So we will start with number E, the nuisance abatement hearing. Ms. Donna Taylor, who resides in Eden, North Carolina, registered owner 6021 Westwood Avenue of Nashville, was cited on November the 14th, 2024 for the accumulation of trash and junk, removal of old, unusable junk and furniture from the rear porch area, and removal of fallen tree limbs from the property by Code Enforcement Officer Ms. Thomasine Jones. She has violated Section 32.2B, which is accumulation as a fire hazard or a harboring place for rats, mice, snake, or other vermin, otherwise pose a danger to public health and or safety. Mrs. Jones did a follow-up inspection on November 25th, 2024, which was the timeline date for the follow-up inspection. Noticed that the property was still in violation. I myself went out on December 9th with the contractor to take a look at it to see if the property owner had cleaned it up. That day, the property owner did not clean up. Due to some of the items on the back porch that we saw that day, we thought it would be best to have this come before the council, have the council vote on the ordinance to act upon it, and then turn it over to our contractor to clean it with the bill being sent to the owner. And of course, in 30 days, if the owner did not pay it, the town assessed a lien to the property.
Anybody?
After going back out today, the property is still in the
Still
same
the same
violation.
condition?
Yes, ma'am. So I would ask the council to vote for approval of ordinance 2025-02 to allow our town contractor, Horns Landscaping, to go out and clean this property up to town standards. And of course, Ms. Jones and myself will be with them that day to ensure that if anything is taken, that it is considered not valuable or salvageable items.
One of our council members have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I just
Councilmember
wanted to know, usually, when it gets to this point, we've actually been in touch with either the resident of the property or the owner of the property. Have we been able to contact anybody?
We have mail has came back receipt undeliverable, and
Okay.
one time Mrs. Taylor was contacting the town to let us know that she would handle it, but as of right now, we haven't heard nothing from
And
her.
is there anyone residing there?
No, its house is vacant. We
Vacant,
went and
okay.
checked it out that day.
Okay.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Councilman
the
Blunt.
timeline, I'll make sure I'm clear on the timeline.
Yes, sir.
We're going to send her a letter with an estimate, or we're going to pay, or we're going to have somebody go out and send her a bill.
What we do is we send our contract out. He bills the town. We pay the bill, and then what we do is bill the owner what the contractor did, and then we also add an administration service fee of $175 to tack on to the bill. Of course, in 30 days, if the bill is not paid, then we put a lien on the property with the.
So that's where I have a problem.
Yes, sir.
We cannot do that. If she sells the property in the 30 days, then we lose our money. We have to put the lien on as soon as we do the work.
Well, that's what we've been doing recently, is putting the lien on right
We can't
now.
wait 30 days.
Yes, sir. We'll make sure that once the bill goes out, the lien goes on the same day. I can assure that.
Because if we do the work today and she sells the property tomorrow, we're out the
lose.
money.
Yeah, we're in the loop. Well, we're in that little gray area where you will lose it, correct. We did have one that did kind of fall in that gray area, and the new owner did call and did make the payment.
That was
Until
nice.
they-
That was very nice of them.
Right, they don't have to do it. They don't have to do it. He felt like that they didn't do the due diligence on the behalf of the town for him getting
Because
the
it says on
first
here,
attention.
if it to be a lien after 30 days, we don't need to be that. We need to be
Immediately.
lien immediately.
We can take care of that, that's no
Just
problem.
remove the lien.
If you put that in the motion, we'll make
Yeah,
sure
we
we
need
get
to
that
do
on
that.
our end, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve ordinance 2025-02, ordering the removal of the junk, unusable products from off the rear porch and remove all the fallen tree limbs with the cost billed to the property owner and placement of a lien on the property if not paid in 30 days? We're going to change that to immediately.
Immediately.
Do I hear a motion?
With the correction, I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Now, as you can see on our next item, before we get started, may I approach the council, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Mayor, our next item is the conditional rezoning of the property on Cook Road. The applicant is WIC LLC, and they are asking to conditionally rezone the property that the town owns from industrial to CZNR, conditional zoning, non-residential. The applicant, once again, is WIC LLC and Ripe Incorporation, and they submitted this application to the town on December 16, 2024. We'll go through the packet for the benefit of the crowd this afternoon, and also we'll open up for the public hearing once we go through the staff report, Mayor. Parcel 336591 with access off Cook Road. Parcel 315263 with access off Cook Road to Commerce Street is being the one we're looking at this evening. WIC LLC has requested the property off Cook Road, which is in the town Nashville town limits, to be conditionally rezoned from industrial I-1 to CZNR, conditional zoning non-residential, for better use of the builder and the developer. The property off Cook Road has a parcel number 315263, and Lot 2 has a parcel number 336591. The property resides in the town of Nashville town limits in our business flex tech park, and the property rezoned this applicant to utilize the conditional rezone to be able to use the land to allow all his zoning requests through the conditional process. If you look north of the property, it is I-1, which is presently, and that's vacant. South of the property is A1, which is presently residential farmland. To the east is A1, which is residential single-family dwellings. And to the west is I1, which is industrial mercantile in our business tech flex park. If you look at the existing zoning right now, I1 district is defined as a certain land so situated as suitable for industrial development, usually along railroad sidings and major thoroughfares, but with certain operations that can be adversely affected by nearby properties. The purpose of this district is to permit the normal operation of almost all industrials which are noxious by their emissions, smoke, dust, fumes, glares, noise, and vibration of those industrials which deal primarily in hazardous products such as explosives. Selected business uses are also appropriate in this district. What the applicants asked for is our new zoning district, CZNR. CZNR, conditional non-residential conditional district. The purpose of this district is to provide for a unified residential development that accomplishes the purpose of applicable regulations and equivalent of a higher degree than what such regulations are intended to control development on individual lots and to promote economical, efficient land use, improve level of amenities, appropriate harmless varieties, and creative designs and better environment. If we move over to page 2, for the sake of time, since we have so many, I know as always you've done your due diligence and ran through this very thoroughly. The 2021 Nashville Comp Plan states that existing industrial, the purpose of industrial classification is to provide for a wide variety of general manufacturing, assembling, warehouse land use. The planned industrial park as well as a freestanding manufacturing establishment are included within industrial classifications. Some intensive business services used such as automotive, miscellaneous repair service could also be appropriate use within this classification. Included in this classification are land areas that are currently used for industrial purposes as well as areas where future industrial land use is anticipated. If you look at our I-1 zoning district, what we're mainly looking for is research facilities, logistic, distribution facilities, commercial, industrial operations, and government facilities, which we do have out there. Conditional non-zoning residential, you kind of can mix it up and add more uses in, and instead of just saying one industrial, you have to follow by what the table allowed uses says. This conditional non-residential, you kind of can mix more of your uses in there. So the proposed zoning uses that WIC LLC has asked for this night is in this zoning district is eating and drinking establishments, a garden center, a farmer's market, produce stand, farm supply store, a greenhouse wholesale operation, a greenhouse on-premise sales, a banquet hall, a meeting facility, community center, and a conference center. Of course, all four of those are tabled together as one big use, but we label out all four. A theater, outdoor amphitheater, a school, vocational training, manufacturing, assembly, processing, recreational facilities, and outdoor retail. Also, WIC LLC thought that they wanted to add a few more uses in there so they would not have to come back before the planning board or the council later on down the road thinking that maybe these uses could be utilized in their site plan. What they also asked for is a processing facility, a museum, animal feeding preparation manufacturing, packing and distribution, distillery, microbrewery, seafood preparation, packing and distribution, a winery, park, campground, recreational vehicle park, health and personal care facility, short-term rentals, host and non-host occupied, storage of goods indoor and outdoor, and of course warehousing. Description of the subject property is 35.24 acres of undeveloped tract land owned by the town of Nashville and is located off Cook Road. Primary in this industrial I-1 zoning district within the town of Nashville town limits, the site is located beside commercial buildings and residential. The second property is 3.13 acres of undeveloped tract land owned by the town of Nashville and located off Cook Road and Commerce Street in Nashville. Primarily in the industrial I-1 zoning district within the town of Nashville town limits, the site is located beside commercial buildings and residential across the street from it. And if you look on your next page, you'll see a comparison of the zoning map as we continue on showing this property right here. The first one, if you look in the picture, is the one off Commerce Street and Cook Road. There is a modular home in front of it, and also to the right of there's an industrial building. If you look at the other property that the WIC LLC is looking at getting conditional rezone non-residential, to the right of it, facing back towards town, towards Old Bailey Highway, there is residential going that way. To the left of it is all our industrial stuff in our business tech flex park. The project history, before we go into our project history, let's look at our future land use map. Our future land use map shows that this project is industrial. That's what it is right now. We made it industrial because this site is an industrial site. Let's look at our project history. WIC LLC, as we stated before earlier, did apply for a conditional non-residential rezone on December 16, 2024 for 38.37 acres. Public hearing notices and letters were mailed out to approximately 12 property owners within a 500-foot radius, as we told the planning board last evening. Due to the lay of the land out there, several people own 20 to 10 acres out there, so you're not going to get that 20 to 30 percentile that we mainly get for property owner mail notification. So this is why this was at 12. The public hearing notice was mailed out on December 17, 2024. The public hearing notice was posted on the town website on December 9, 2024. The rezoning sign was posted on the property December 16, 2024, and photos are below for you to look at showing that we did post it. The legal notice was advertised in Nashville Graphic on December 26, January the 2nd, for the planning board meeting schedule, which was last evening, January 6, 2025, and for the town council meeting, which is scheduled right now, January 7, 2025. The front door to town hall was posted on December the 9th. The front door to town Nashville Harold D. Cooley Library and the rec center was posted on December the 9th. The subject property is not located within a floodplain. The subject property is not located within the Stony Creek watershed, Upper Stony Creek sub-watershed. Such property is not located in our NCDEQ water supply watershed, and the property will be provided with water and sewer provided service by the town of Nashville. Last evening, the town of Nashville Planning Board did meet, and Board Member Dennis Evans made a motion to approve the rezoning request with the detailed statement consistency provided by the staff, and a motion was seconded by Board Member Ross Strickland, with the motion passing unanimously. As we continue on in our staff report, Mayor, as we get to the end, let's talk about consistency with the comprehensive land use plan. The conditional rezoning request CZNR01 is consistent with the 2021 Town of Nashville Comprehensive Plan and for conditional non-residential because the Cook Road Industrial Tech Flex Park promotes a mixture of commercial industrial uses that support the tax base while encouraging enterprising business to create a flexible space for a variety of cutting-edge industries. This development also is in harmony with other industrial uses within this district. The area was developed to have high-ceiling bay areas and open floor plans with multi-use existing neighbors around the proposed site. The applicant is planning on using this property for agriculture and ag tourism, which is allowed in the A1 zone district as long as the applicant is considered a bona fide farm. And as we told the planning board last night, if this was in the ETJ, Mr. Carnegie would be allowed to do some of these uses because he'll be considered a bona fide farm because he's in the ETJ, which state statute allows it. Is this reasonable in spot zoning? It's the question we have to ask ourselves going forward. The conditional rezoning request CZNR01 may be considered reasonable in the public interest and not considered spot zoning because The subject property is located within the industrial district, which will continue to be zoned for industrial and residential use similar to the adjacent properties around it under conditional non-residential. The town of Nashville defines a non-residential conditional district is to provide for a unified non-residential development that accomplishes the purpose of applicable regulations to equivalent or higher degree, that where such regulations are intended to control development on individual lots and to promote economical, efficient land use, approve levels of amenity, appropriate harmonious variety, creative design, and a better environment. While approval of this request would permit the removal of the covenants for an industrial park in areas of the neighboring business owners do have a problem with the line that's in their order for the rezone to take place. Our TRC recommendations, as we stated to the planning board last night, we will state to the council, Mr. Carnegie has not submitted what we would call a detailed scale site plan, where you go in, where an engineer has gone in and gave us some more schematics of the land and what he's going to do in every aspect of acres of the land. But he has submitted a rough draft site plan, which is good enough for tonight to get the process started. So we have that before us that we can talk about in a few minutes. As we stated before, the planning board did make recommendations to approve this conditional non-residential zone and did adopt the statement of consistencies that I wrote for the planning board, and they also adopted development conditions that Mr. Carnegie, as of today, has not had no modification wanting to change and said he could abide by these conditions. We'll go through these development conditions, and then Mayor, I will yield to you and the council for the purpose of the public hearing. Development conditions that we have asked Mr. Carnegie to follow are: number one, the subject property shall be developed in accordance to the approved site plan and applicable requirements of the town of Nashville zoning orders, stating that Mr. Carnegie and his company decide to go from the scope of work which was submitted. This conditional non-residential is non-void. Number two, the subject property may be developed with the uses only. For the sake of time, we will not go through every one of the uses that was asked because we already read them out loud for the benefit of the public and the council. And also, if any new subject be changed, they have to come back. So if he decides to change or add something new, let's just use the dog board and kennel. If he decides to do that out there on the property, being it's not in this list, he will have to come back for the planning board and town council. Significant substantial modification or revision to the approved site plan may require additional review by the Town of Nashville TRC, Technical Review Committee, the Town of Nashville Planning Board, as well reapproved by the Town of Nashville Town Council at the discretion of the planning director or his designee. The applicant must abide by section 24.4, noise. Being he's doing an amphitheater where he's located at right now, we feel like it would not be detrimental to the residential development out there, being it's on the back part of the land. But we want Mr. Carnegie to be understanding about our noise ordinance, just in case this is brought up, stating that unreasonable loud noise or disturbing noise should not be allowed between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And last but not leastly, number 4, development conditions. The conditional zoning map amendment shall be invalid until the practitioners consist in writing to attach development conditions. So if we do approve this conditional rezoning tonight, and with LLC firm does not want to abide by the development conditions, say they do not want to abide by them, they feel like these are too stringent on them, let's go back and regroup, then everything is null and void until we have a signature on it. As we stated, Mr. Carnegie has submitted his questions of answer why he feels like this is applicable. We'll go through this and then we'll turn it over to the public hearing. Number 1, describe how the conditional zoning request is consistent with the Town of Nashville Comprehensive Plan, zoning ordinance, and other official plans that are applicable. The applicant said the current use plan has parcels listed as industrial, with all surrounding land as agricultural. Our proposed plan blends these two uses together to incorporate a vibrant multi-use development that will support communities and stakeholders while driving value, energy, and with the current uses. Number 2, explain how the conditional zoning request will update the existing ordinance if there is any inconsistency with the Town of Nashville Comprehensive Plan, zoning ordinance, and any other official plans applicable. The applicant did state this conditional zoning request aligns with the Town of Nashville goals by addressing evolving communities' needs and enhancing land use efficiency. Any inconsistencies arise within this comprehensive plan of zone orders, the request provides an opportunity to update these documents to better reflect current practitioners and their terms objectives. Number 3, explain why the conditional zoning request will be applicable, beneficial, and in the general public interest of the area sought to be rezoned. The zoning request will be beneficial to the community by establishing a destination campus that serves residents, farmers, and business will incorporate industrial, commercial, and educational components, staying true to the original character and utility. Development will create jobs, expand the tax base, increase the sales tax revenue, and provide new recreational activities, making this a valuable addition to the community. Number 4, explain why the conditional zoning request will affect adjoining property owners and alter the character areas. This request may result in minor changes such as increased lighting and traffic. However, this request mitigates potential adverse effects by avoiding heavy industrial, which is currently permitted. Instead, this development will be community-focused with destination attractions that integrate seamless, enhanced character and will negatively impact adjoining property owners. Briefly described accessibility, impact, adequate public facilities, service, fire and safety, infrastructure, parks and recreation, stormwater drainage, and topography that is currently available at the subject property. The applicant did state we will work closely with the local agencies to ensure fire safety considerations are fully addressed during development. Undeveloped areas will be elevated, utilities for public and recreational purposes, preserving open space and enhancing community amenities. The campus will be designed with careful attention to the environmental impact, ensure adequate stormwater drainage and management and topography in what the product protects adjacent property owners and aligns with suitable developments and purpose. Mayor, that is the staff report presented by the town staff from the applicant. I will now yield to you. The applicant is here. His representative, Mr. Varnell, is not here, but he will be glad to speak and answer and entertain any questions on the council. Then we'll come back for deliberation and discussion and possibly a vote this evening, and also the public hearing. Mayor, I will yield to you and to the applicant.
Do any of the council have any questions that you'd like to ask Will? I think we've discussed.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
So, if not, do I hear a motion to go into open, to open a public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So at this time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this? Hope, is this the one you wanted to speak? Where are you, Hope? I can't see you for the pillow.
Good evening.
Hey.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Hope Edwards, and I reside at 1284 Cook Road, Nashville, with my husband. And we own and operate M&H Edwards Farm. Thank you. We own and operate M&H Edwards Farm, which is based on Cook Road. And we have a poultry farm on the south side of Cook Road that would be one of the adjacent properties to this conglomeration. So, about 11 to 12 years ago, the area in question on Cook Road was rezoned from residential agriculture to industrial. And honestly, at the time, my husband and I and many on our road were not happy about that. It's been, like I said, 11 to 12 years now, and we have learned to adapt to those changes. But now this proposal to rezone the land once again and change it to commercial is something that that we are not in approval of, and we believe that it is simply not in harmony with the adjacent parcels on Cook Road that are currently there. If this proposed rezoning to commercial is approved, there will be residential, agricultural, industrial, and commercial all intertwined on our little country road. And the town needs to pick something that's going to be out there and stick with it instead of it just constantly changing. I'm all for change and economic development, but when my husband and his family have lived on that Cook Road community for over 50 years and sustained a successful farming business, I assume everyone in here likes to eat. And so even though agriculture will be part of what the new proposal is for this land, what we do is homegrown agriculture, and it is what feeds America. And so we are. It's just simply not consistent with what's going on currently on Cook Road. We are concerned as business owners because we do have a poultry farm that has been there, as I mentioned, for over 24 years. And we are independent contractors with Purdue Farms, and which is also based in Nashville, of course. And what we're concerned about is the just how this may affect what we have been doing there for quite some time, and how that is going to possibly interact with the biosecurity and the different things that we consider what keeps our business going. Because if we are susceptible to things in the environment within just, very close proximity, then we could not only lose our business, but we would lose our home. I mean, we would lose our livelihood. And so all of these things are things that we consider when things are coming so close to what we sustain our life with. And so I just wanted, and also with the concerns about traffic and how that's going to affect our road, and the community there that exists. I mean, businesses can come and businesses can go, but as I said, we've been there and we're not going anywhere. So we have to consider how, I would ask that the town consider how this rezoning could affect the people that have been there and will be there for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you, Hope. Larry, is it Danforth?
Danforth.
Good evening, y'all. Appreciate you taking the opportunity to hear me tonight. My man, when you spoke so quick. Yes, sir. And if you don't mind, could you pull back up the part of where the amendment is to what you want to do? So what was included in the possible changes? Yes, sir. Please, thank you. My name is Larry Danforth. I live at 420 Cook Road, and I'm out here to speak tonight about the requested change, rezoning. In 2017, I moved out of town, out of the city limits of Nashville, to Cook Road, for no other reason than I wanted a quieter quality of life. When I moved there, and when I and several people out here moved to Cook Road, we knew exactly what was going on with the current park as it is right now. We knew what was possible, and we were willing to accept that. Okay? Now, they're requesting a change. When it comes back up to what they're considering, they ran the gamut on anything and everything that could possibly be out there. Anything and everything. Now it is, as it's currently stated, it's what, industrial, right? So we're limited as to what we can do. But on the affidavit by, what's he going to request? It was written. Let me see here. Yeah, right here. What page is that, sir? Can you pull that up?
That would be council page 2 in your packet where we say proposed zoning uses. And for the sake of the audience, we can go through every one more time just to make sure everybody gets it. Council, the town manager feels like.
What page is it on ours?
Oh, 65, yeah, please, I'm sorry. Yeah, y'all have-
65, okay.
Yeah.
I got the relationship going. Right there, Ray, that's it right there. If you go down in the comp plan section. For the sake of the general audience, what the applicant did request for the conditional non-residential zone district was eating and drinking establishments, a garden center, farmer's market, produce stand, farm supply store, greenhouse wholesale operation, greenhouse on-premise sales, banquet hall, meeting facility, community center, conference center, theater, outdoor amphitheater, school vocational trade, manufacturing, assembling, processing, recreational facilities, outdoor, retail, processing facilities, museum, animal feed preparation, manufacturing, packing and distribution, distilleries, microbrewery, seafood preparation, packing and distribution, winery, park, campground, recreational vehicle park, health and personal care facility, short-term rentals, host and non-host occupied, storage of goods indoor and outdoor, and warehousing.
Where's the end portion of that in our packet?
Yeah.
Because ours ends at
we don't have it.
retail.
Yeah.
This is from the one, your package went out after we had this meeting.
Do we have it anywhere up here?
I can position my
Okay.
little one right here, and I just add to the back. when we
Okay,
come back.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, council members and mayor, that's pretty much everything except for a shooting range. I ain't trying to be ugly. I'm all about change. I knew what I was getting into when I bought my house. Okay? I understand you can't stop progress. But when you do this and you allow anything and everything by rezoning, you have a real effect on the people who are already out there. I get it. okay? I've been part of the town, and I have a vested interest in the safety, security, well-being, and the growth of this town. I have family that lives here. My wife works here. I work here part-time. I want what's best for Nashville, just like each and every one of you do. But at the same time, I want what each one of you want for your own living. You want to live in a sense of peace and tranquility. You've talked about it earlier tonight over something, a recycle truck making too much noise. If that matters to you, why would this not matter to us? Am I wrong? I'm not opposed to a man right here doing his thing. I know what he's about, and I think it's a great cause. I think it's a great cause. I have no problem at all with that. But at the end of the day, my family and my family's well-being is more important than maybe some of these other things. One of which, the amphitheater. Yeah, that's not going to affect anybody in town because it's pointing back towards our houses. We've got, if you want to hear music, you've got what, Stony Creek Park? And then you've got the one right up here at the end of Barn Street, and I'm having a brain lapse right now. I can't think of what it's called. And those are great. But that one out there is going to have, it's not going to affect the town because it's not pointing back to the town. So I ask before you approve this rezoning, if you would please seriously take into consideration the people who live on Cook Road and how it's going to impact us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the next person Mike Jones?
My name is Mike Jones. I live at 520 Cook Road. I have lived at 520 Cook Road for 13 years. Me and my wife moved there and we built our dream home. We were the first ones in that section of the newer homes. As the map shows where the 10,000 square foot buildings are, my house is just on the other side of those. The amphitheater is from my backyard that they're proposing is less than 100 yards. And if anybody's been to a football game, 100 yards is loud. We can hear from my house when they did New Year's at the farmer's market, we heard everything that went on at my house. So to say that everything that's being asked in this rezoning that will not mess with anything around us, it will. My boys have grown up there. I have a 17-year-old that's graduating this year, and I have a 14-year-old right now. They ride four-wheelers, dirt bikes, all in the field behind the house. We walk through the woods. We walk the dogs through there. Neighbors from Cook Road and neighbors from White Oak, we all use those fields. My son also works, my oldest boy works for M&H Farms. He grew up watching what they did on that property, and now he is actually working for them, picking pumpkins. He spends every day, he loves it. He has learned more from farming than I did when I was a kid and I had family that farmed. So, as I said, the rezoning is going to really, really change our whole neighborhood. And just to give you another idea, when we moved out there, because I work from home, so I see it every day, my bedroom window is right there at the road. I can sit there and in 3 hours time, I see one car. If we start adding more traffic through there, it's going to change that. So you're talking about tractor trailers, everything else coming through there to handle commercial. That road, it can't handle commercial. So thank you.
Thank you. Council, do any of you have questions?
Can I see the list also? Because I didn't see the
Oh,
list.
sorry, it's being passed down.
The planning board see this list?
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason we didn't get a copy of the corrected list?
Yes, sir, Councilman. There is a reason because packets had to be sent out on Thursday, and this happened before your packets, after your packets got sent out.
Sean, would you have time to grab that and maybe go over the library and copy it?
Yes, sir.
Mayor, this is a public hearing, so the applicant is here, and maybe the
Yeah,
applicant would like to
I was
address.
going to ask Will if you'd like to come up and
the concerns.
address any of this, please.
Thank you,
Okay,
Lisa.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Will Cornegi. I'm the intended developer of the property, and grateful to be here to have the opportunity to even share our story and to share the room with you. I just want to say, that I wholeheartedly, understand everything that everyone has expressed this evening, and understand the importance of what, this project might mean to you and your family. And likewise to me and mine. This is a big project that we have spent a lot of time. This conversation has been occurring for almost 3 years now, and it's come to fruition slowly. But our business, Ripe Revival, is built around the purpose to revive communities through food and to showcase small town rural America and what agriculture and farming does for this country. And so our intent for this project is to, create a place that does provide value to the community, and that may look different for, for everyone. But our genuine desire is to really highlight hardworking farmers, provide opportunities for hardworking farmers, and really create a destination where people can come and learn about what you do and what small town America is all about, and that's community. And so, while it may not be, the most ideal for, everyone, near us, is a part of what our business has grown to, try and accomplish. And this has been a location that we have had our sights on for a while. And, we do feel that it fits well for what we're trying to accomplish. Our goal is to educate people, not just people within our community across Eastern North Carolina and beyond, but to really educate the world about the importance of all the things that we care about. And so I'm happy to answer any questions, to address any concerns needed, and to share any more. But again, thankful to have the opportunity to be considered for this.
Did you have some questions for Will? Did you?
I do. As far as what your primary uses are versus like ancillary uses, can you just describe what it would look like what you're going to be doing all the time versus just some of the time? That would be helpful, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, really the economic engine behind our organization and this campus is the food processing facility, which is, seeded from a state grant and other funding that will, be our primary function as a business. We'll be able to process 600 million pounds of food through that facility a year, which is going to provide astronomical opportunities for farm diversification through the state of North Carolina. So that's our primary activities. I think on the northern part of the campus, and a big part of what our company works to do is to, encompass an integrated model that not only creates efficiencies for the industry, but also brings people around the sense of community for the industry. And so agritourism, as we know, is a critical component in making people aware of the importance of agriculture in this state and supporting farmers, providing a place for people who don't know farming, who don't have access to gardens in their backyard to buy local foods. And so the idea that we have a place where there is retail and dining and other establishments, which is the other intended use, primary intended use on the northern, part of the campus would be establishments where people can gather, where people can commune together, where people can share a meal, and where preferably that meal is made from local ingredients, locally grown products, and it becomes a place that brings a lot of joy to people and supports economic development in this area. When you look at the proposed site plan and you look at the other aspects, and of course there is a list of things on this on the request for rezoning, because there is some uncertainty on how the project will develop over time, but those buildings on the right are going to be dining establishments and retail. There is an event facility and pavilion, which will be used for conference, training and seminars, corporate, we work with organizations like Kroger and the Kroger Foundation, and they're excited about having a place in rural America where they can send buyers to meet growers to, see the communities in which the food that's being distributed across the country is grown. And so those facilities will be used for nurturing relationships that are really all come back full circle to this, element of food that's grown right here in Nash County for the most part, or in predominantly North Carolina. And there are some ag production components of the campus, greenhouse production, and potential aquaculture. And so when you look at the site plan and what's there, that is the intended primary plan as things go now. There's a lot of synergies in some of these categories where there's crossover. When you look at retail and you look at a retail store, this is not just a farmer's market. It is a farm, supply store. It's going to have all kinds of retail goods from toiletries, cosmetics, everything that you would need in a grocery store, but at a hyper-focused level for supporting local companies. And, of course, education is another really big aspect of what we intend to do. So we've got a technical trade school that intends to bring people in and teach them how to farm, how to, work in food processing facilities, how to understand food safety, but also just business and entrepreneurship, which is a big passion of ours. And so we want to provide opportunities to empower people and to bring other stakeholders from this community into this campus to not only reap the benefits of what we think we can create together, but to provide opportunities for people to be empowered. So,
Any other questions?
So with regard to the amphitheater, what is the intent of that?
It's just like the other amphitheaters in town. It's a place to gather and play music and enjoy events and companies. I think the vision for that is not that this is a Walnut Creek amphitheater where there's a concert every weekend. It's a place to entertain. It's a place to host, events for our, corporate partners when they come in, and be able to, have it for a wedding venue and things of that nature. So I don't think that it's intended to be a big concert venue by any means, but it is a place where, entertainment can happen.
Will, how can this benefit our current farmers that surround you?
I think when you look at the data and statistics that we've presented to the state for the processing facility and the volume that we believe can go through that facility, it creates a lot of economic opportunity. I think that when you look at the amount of acreage that we would be able to run through that facility and put out into the marketplace, there are unbelievable opportunities to diversify into new commodities. In a really difficult economy and a difficult farm economy where, almost every commodity is difficult to be profitable right now. Our intention is to commercialize crops that are not traditionally grown here, because we've been able to provide a market and demand for it, and then provide the security. And I think one thing about our company and the name, Ripe Revival, is, our purpose is to revive communities through food, but we chose that name very intentionally. I mean, our desire is to lift up communities and to take what's, ready or mature and maximize potential. And so our model has been built around this model of 100% utilization, where we have worked with, dozens of farmers across, North Carolina, and piloted this model of buying every single pound of crop that they grow and maximizing the return. And our farmers have, by data statistically, have generated an additional $700 to $1,800 in additional revenue per acre over the last 4 years on just hard squash that we have been able to, facilitate. And so with this infrastructure of this campus, we believe that we can make those numbers much greater. We could provide opportunity, and we can provide security for a industry that is really facing a lot of challenges and pressures.
Mayor.
Yes.
Will, I've been involved with your vision here since you started it, but listen to the residents that already live out there. Would you be open, because you've mentioned agriculture and farm and stuff quite a bit, but then I'm sitting here looking, I'm trying to figure out, how does campground recreation vehicle park roll into any farm capacity, health and personal care facilities, short-term rentals, stuff like that. Would you be open to probably shaving this, for lack of a better term, Mr. Danforth used the phrase, say, we opened it up for you to put everything out there except the kitchen sink. Would you be open to trimming it down some to stay more closely with agriculture and farm rather than with all this other stuff that you got listed up here? Because this additional stuff that I too have just seen kind of stretches it out. Amphitheater, we've got 2 in Nashville already. We don't need another one. I don't think we need another one. Short-term. Okay, I missed that part. Short-term rentals. You're getting away from the farm and stuff. Distilleries. I can go along with distilleries, the breweries, seafood prep, packing facilities, winery, park campgrounds. Would you be open to looking at these things and see if we can shave those off? Or is that part of is that a all or nothing type
How does it fit into your
Yeah,
total
how
goal
does that
is what
fit
I'd
into
like
the
to
other
know.
stuff?
Yeah, I want to reiterate that a lot of those, descriptions, there's a lot of crossover, right? So when you say RV campground and short-term rentals, we've got a tiny home village in the middle of this campus where people can gather and stay and experience agriculture in this community. And so the idea is that they can come and they can stay and they can go to our food processing facility and watch food being produced, watch crops coming in from the farms. They can go dine in the restaurant and eat food produced in these facilities from these farmers. They can enjoy, the activities there, and then they can stay. And then they can experience Nashville as well while they're here. And so we want people to come and enjoy agriculture as a whole. So would we be willing to remove certain aspects of the campus? We certainly want to consider everyone's, opinions and feedback, but we do have other stakeholders and investors and people who have contributed to this project and this company who also have a say in this outside of just what I can say right here, right now. But I will say that, the vision that we have for this property is that it's not just farming and food. It is a place where people can come and gather, and it's a community, and that's what we're trying to build. So my long-winded answer to that is we would be willing to have the conversation of what that looks like and what of those items on that list may have double meaning and kind of knock those down, I guess, and see what we can to figure that out.
I understand your stakeholders, but my concern is none of your stakeholders are going to be living out there.
I understand.
Can you just come back up to the podium, Hope? Thank you.
Yeah, and the enormity of this project, I think, is what is kind of off-putting to those that live on the road. And also, just the fact that when we were made aware of it, Mr. Carnegie did approach my husband and I about a month ago, and he says he's been in planning for this for 3 years, and I understand that, but it feels as though it's all just thrown at us at one time, and now it just wants to be open to anything and everything on our road. And quite some time ago, my husband and I applied to have the volunteer ag district where our poultry houses are. And let me reiterate, like if your livelihood, anybody in here, if your livelihood depended on the safety and security of what you are producing, like, just imagine that, okay? As a farmer, like, we depend on the weather, we depend on things that we cannot control. And so this is something that we do want to voice our concerns, because we are in a position where we can have a little bit of sense of control with this. And this is our livelihood. We're 51 years old. We're not going to go get another job. We're not, this is what we do. We produce food for our community. And when we feel like that may be threatened because of a poultry processing plant and thinking about the wastewater that comes off of that, and let me make you, I think it would be a good idea, let me just say this, I think it would be a good idea if Mr. Carnegie would sit down with us and some other folks, and we could talk about our specific concerns, because the more we've had time to process this, the more we continue to think of how this is going to affect our livelihood and how our livelihood is going to affect this. And because right now, we're in the middle of flocks of poultry. And so my husband, he has to clean out the poultry houses, and dust and all kinds of things are flowing everywhere. Is there going to be a barrier where that doesn't touch all this that's coming up? Because we don't want complaints about what our existing livelihood is doing to what is new coming up, because we were already there to begin with. And so I think he needs to understand what's already there and how that may affect. Because I don't think people are going to want to go to a concert venue and some poultry manure is 200 feet away that he can smell. I mean, these are all things that I feel like should have been addressed before now. And, you know, but we did not have the platform to do that before now. So it's a little pin up right now, sorry. But these are things like, if people start to complain about what we do for a living, we have no other option. I mean, I hate to say it, but we were there first. So what we do is so close to what is being proposed commercially that it will have an effect. And down the line, I want my voice to be heard right now, because I'm just one of those people that I don't want to come back and say, well, you should have said something earlier. I'm saying something earlier. And this is something that is not going to go away. I mean, we made it a volunteer ad district for a reason. And this is why, to protect that district from other things that could come in and complain about the smell of chicken manure, for lack of a better word. But we all like to eat chicken, and so chicken manure exists. But, you know, we deal with it. We do the dirty job. But other people that are going to come in close proximity, do they understand the ramifications of that? Because we don't want to be shut down because somebody doesn't like the smell.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just had a real quick question, Mayor. You talked about biosecurity. So can you just elaborate a little bit on that, what your concerns are for what is coming
Yeah,
there?
my husband has been with Purdue Farms, independent contractor, for 27 years now, and they have a stringent policy on biosecurity, meaning that when we enter the facility of the poultry houses, we have to be completely decked out in coveralls and clean boots, hair nets, and the environment and the things around that do affect that, because different diseases and things like that can enter the chicken house just through the wind, through the air, in the environment, and how that can affect. If we were to lose a whole flock of chickens, we'd go bankrupt. We would lose our livelihood. And so Purdue puts those biosecurity measures in place, and we just have to follow them. And my husband takes it very seriously, what he does. That's why he's been doing it for 27 years and been doing it well. And I don't think just the average person understands traditional farming at all, let alone poultry farming. It's a whole other ballgame. And so, and how that affects, the things that are in close proximity to that. But the biosecurity measurements are put out by Purdue. We just follow what Purdue gives us and I'll be glad to get like a copy of what those biosecurity measures are specifically.
Is there any specific concern that you have for these things that you see close? Like I see the aquaculture facility, the greenhouses, the garden center. Is there anything that just jumps into your mind?
Well,
as far
just
as
I know there was a mention of some type of animal something on the list. I don't remember exactly in what capacity, but that's how most
animal feed preparation, manufacturing.
And package, yeah.
Right. But most things are, even the amount of workers that a lot of, like the bird flu, for instance, everybody's probably familiar with the bird flu because of the media, but it is a real thing. And so that is airborne. And so even workers on a farm or a facility like what is being proposed can spread that into the air. And we've never had a business or commercial property very close to our poultry houses, so that's never really been a concern. We've been the only ones that have been close enough to affect that. But this is very concerning, like losing sleep over it at night concerning. And there are a lot of things on there, just like the wastewater, the things that run off into the environment, how that's going to affect the produce that we grow. We don't even grow certain things next to our poultry house because we want there to be a divide from what what the poultry house puts off, so to speak, what the producing chickens puts off. We draw a line and we move our produce, you know, away from that. And so there are things that we don't know what that's going to produce in the environment in close proximity to our poultry houses. And so that's probably the number one concern that we have. I mean, aside from being residents, we're you know, on the, I guess, whatever west end of Cook Road where we live. But aside being residents on the road, what we have at stake with our livelihood, that would be our main concern. Because I don't think people realize what's involved with poultry farming and how that affects what's in close proximity.
Thank you, Hope.
Yes.
Maybe they need to sit down and have a conversation. And you know, something she said, Will, might be good if you just sit down and lay out to them, you know, what exactly it's going to be like you did with us. So, because it is their livelihood. Any other questions for Will or anybody?
I got a hand in order.
Okay, yes. Come up to the podium, please.
Virginia Budzinski, 400 East Church Street, Nashville. My only comment on this whole thing is I'm standing behind Hope and her husband. I feel that we currently have the junction in town that Michael Hurt is trying very hard to try to promote and to try to bring businesses into there. There's an amphitheater, like everything that happened on New Year's was wonderful. So we already have that in town. I don't think we need a competing venue out on the outskirts of town, especially with the Mills. You've got Rocky Mount Mills that has restaurants. I feel that right now it's hard enough to try to bring certain businesses into town, like restaurants and that kind of things. I don't think bringing a venue like this into the farmer's land is a great idea. And I'm not a farmer. I'm from up north. I'm new to town, almost 4 years now. But I'm all for progress and, building up and trying to bring people into town. But I have to disagree that this would not be the right move, just because of what potentially, I mean, I don't see something like that even being successful in this area. And that's my opinion. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else would like to speak?
I'm sorry, I'm back. I'm Mike Jones. I wanted to bring up that none of us knew about what was going on with the rezoning on Cook Road itself. We got a letter in the mail, and there's more than 12 of us on that whole street. We all got a letter, and the letter basically talks about the L&K development that's happening on Old Bailey. Nothing said about rezoning on Cook Road. So and I asked my neighbors before I even come, and we didn't even know about this until last night, and we started questioning, we looked it up, and then everything else is on Cook Road, and that's how we found out that what's going on with the rezoning at Cook Road right at my back door. And now I just found out that y'all said it tonight, that y'all took the L&K off of the list. So none of our members of our area, other than the ones we were able to contact, came to the meeting because this is on Old Bailey Highway. It doesn't
get the
really
wrong
concern
letter?
us. Ma'am? You want to see
Okay.
the letter?
That's the other rezoning.
That's the other
Yeah.
rezoning.
We
Yeah,
didn't
that
cancel
was
it,
withdrawn.
the
Yeah, okay, I've
applicant
got it.
canceled it.
But that happened, so we didn't even, nobody came because they didn't know about the rezoning that is happening
Happening on
right
Cook.
there at our back door.
So do we have a list, Lou, of who it went out to?
We do have a list, Councilwoman Burns, as we stated. They got the L&K due to the proximity. This is all generated by the computer. We do not generate the 500-foot buffer We go into Nash County GIS, we click on the parcel of land that has to be rezoned. It generates the 500 feet people that need to get notified. As we stated earlier, due to the proximity of the way the lay of the land, so much acreage, that's why I only went to 12 people.
But when I look at this picture, if he's at 582, that's like practically touching. How's that?
Nash County, I just go off what Nash County GIS adjoining says where you hit the 500 feet.
But I think what he was saying, the letter they got
Right, now
was,
he-
was
Right.
referencing the L&N.
Right, because it was 2 rezonings. He got,
But
right.
did they get one
About theirs.
About
No, because off of what Nash County did when I go into the, for the 500 feet radius, if it doesn't put on the spreadsheet, I just mail it to what it says.
But isn't he closer to this property than he is the other property?
Yeah.
It makes sense. I see what you're saying. I'm not gonna sit and debate and argue with you. It makes sense, but according to when I go on the GIS, I just go off what it says, send the letters out. Now, if you wanna open up the buffer to
Is it
1,000
because we
feet-
did the bottom property as being like the core of it? Because
Yeah,
just
well, the
looking at
bottom
this.
one's right there, where we went off of.
Right, but it's affecting the north side of the property too, that top.
The one right there is the one we went off with the 500 feet. Now, what we can do for future references, we can come back next month, do a text amendment to put a 1,000-foot parameter on it. Because we continue to go out to ETJ, you're gonna run across these type of problems where somebody who has 32 acres has to be rezoned, you're not gonna hit everybody.
Can y'all point to where his property is, please, somebody?
It's like the third one from that vegetative buffer. Yes.
My house is right here. The property that's under rezoning is right here.
And you received a letter for the one from Old Bailey Road?
Old Bailey Road, and I can't even see Old Bailey Road from my house.
Yeah, that
So it doesn't add up.
It doesn't make.
Something's not adding up.
I understand
Something went
what you're
wrong
saying.
here, and I feel like we need to send out letters.
It doesn't make sense. I understand what you're saying. I would say I would make a suggestion to the council that maybe we should set that buffer to 1,000 feet.
Well, why don't we
1,000 foot is
look at it on, why don't we just look at it on an individual basis? Just take this particular.
They never got a letter at all. My neighbor that's next to me closer,
Closer to it, didn't get a letter.
never got a letter at all.
I'd
Because
be
it's going from
wanting
Bailey
to know
Highway.
if the one that's the closest got a letter.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't get a letter, obviously something went wrong.
Why don't we look at this map and do it on an individual basis,
Okay?
and let you just input
Where I
the
think it should
addresses
go.
that we need to put
versus-
in. Don't rely on Nash County's GIS.
Yes, sir. That's
And,
no problem.
And I would also like to add that if he's willing, that we'll take the time to set up a meeting somewhere with the residents out there to kind of let them know firsthand what's going on.
Right. And I think we can whittle this list down to be
Yeah,
what
we-
you're looking for it to be, something that benefits the community,
And
that's
suit-
feasible.
And protect the ones there.
And protect the
And I
ones that
think seeing that whole list of all the possibilities, you just think, what the heck?
It got blowed out.
It just sort of put fear in people.
It did.
Just to bring to your attention, Martin Cook, he lives right across the street from it, he didn't get a letter.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
we
something
need to
went wrong.
correct that.
Something
We'll
went
take
wrong.
responsibility for that.
It said 12 property owners, that's what I pulled, but what we
Right.
can do is.
No, it's
we'll-
not on you. There's something
Right.
wrong with the
No.
computer system.
No.
So something
We
has
need to
gone
work
wrong.
better than the computer and get letters to those people so we can work this out for both teams.
If
Yes.
we want to.
You got a
we-
hand.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Tim Cook, and I live, where I live at, our land is right in front of where they're gonna do all these buildings and the amphitheater.
And you didn't get nothing.
And then my land joins on the other side where they're gonna do the processing plant. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
And you didn't get a letter,
Well, yeah, I got one.
but not for this property.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we're gonna change that.
yeah.
It's like
But
I
mean,
said a while ago, I didn't realize that, the council didn't, and I'm sure Sean really didn't. So we're gonna correct that.
And I mean, I've lived where I'm living for 63 years.
Well, you've had a good, long life there.
Yeah, and I was hoping I could
We
I
hope
could
you
die
continue
there.
to have one, maybe 120.
Not no time soon, but I was hoping I could die there and be in the country.
Okay, Sean, what would you suggest?
Mayor, it's 4 ways we can look at this evening. 3 ways we can vote, 4 ways we can look at. As we stated, conditional rezoning. When we went down this road, we added conditional rezoning so that the town could have control over what uses are allowed. If we go with what the zone is permitted right now, I-1, Mr. Carnegie and his team can open up that table allowed usage chart, pick any one of these and do this right here on this property in I-1. But conditional rezoning lets us limit it to what
We
we
need to
want
close
to
the
do.
public hearing.
Oh, yeah.
Is it over?
You haven't made a motion to close.
Well, I do have one last
There
question
were two
before we
still
go
questions going on, so I didn't know.
out.
She's got one
Sorry,
now.
I do have one last question before we go out. I think during the public hearing. What can currently be done as industrial?
I was going to ask the same question.
So like what on this list can be done as of right, and then what not on this list could be done that would cause concerns, I guess?
All of these items are allowed in our industrial zone for conditional non-residential. Right now, in focus is finishing the table allowed usage chart showing that all this can be allowed in. But
So,
everyone is
no, what I mean is if we didn't rezone this, if it just stayed industrial, what on this list could
That's
be
right.
done as industrial?
we would have to get back with the council. on
Okay,
that
I would
question
love to
first.
see just a comparison of what can be done as of right as industrial.
Right.
And then also,
Agricultural.
pardon?
Agriculture also. I'd like to see both.
Right, and agricultural, because to me, to bring this back to ag as it was, I think can be a massive benefit. And as I said, I think we can make everybody happy. I think we can have certain things on here. I think we can really benefit our community. I think we can make part of this vision come true and have some really awesome things here, bringing it back from industrial, bringing it to ag. But maybe we're just getting a little ahead of ourselves because this list got so long and so if we could just look at what could be done as of right as ag, what could be done as of right as industrial, just to see what on this list is really above and beyond what is already allowed.
That's right.
Are there any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion that we come out of the public hearing?
So moved.
Close it. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Mayor, as we will state, there's three ways we can go this evening with voting matters on this matter. Right now, my recommendation is due to some discrepancy with informing citizens due to Nashville County GIS, due to some answering that the council would like to know about what can be done industrial versus agriculture and all this request. I would say that I will make a recommendation. This is just me, as the planning staff, that we table this, bring it back in our February the 4th meeting and have this discussion. Send out letters once again to make sure that everybody on Cook Road, from the top to the bottom, gets a letter.
I agree with that. Council, what do you think?
I think that's
Can we
a great-
include a possible meeting
Yes.
before then?
Now, that would fall on Mr. Carnegie and his team to hold a public interest meeting amongst that. I don't think the town would need to get involved in. That would be my take on it, but I would also yield to town manager Lansing and our town attorney for that knowledge also.
Okay.
I think it's a real fair point, like, anyone who's been around chickens, the smell.
Right.
And I think it's a valid point that if it's very close by, it might not be desirable for some of the things here. So, yeah, if we could just get a meeting.
But you can only suggest that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do I hear a motion to table this until we make sure all the residents have and we get some specifics about industrial and agriculture?
I move to table this issue tonight to give Sean and the planning department an opportunity to make sure that everybody that's in close proximity to this project gets letters and be able to come back and to suggest to Will that in interim he suggests that he meet with the residents out there to give them a better idea of what's going on. Move to table.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is the Old Bailey Highway rezoning.
Mayor, we have before us one more rezoning request. It's actually the property beside the number G item we were going to look at off Old Bailey Highway. This application was submitted by Stocks Engineering by Mr. Kevin Varnell. Mr. Varnell did reach out to the town and inform us that he could not be present this evening, but he has confidence that with the agenda report and town staff reporting the agenda report that this can be taken care of for a vote this evening. As we stated, Stocks Engineers did apply for this rezoning on behalf of 3MR Ltd Partnership. It is approximately 9 acres off of Old Bailey Highway, South Austin Street, depending on where you're looking at. The property right now is R10. They're asking to rezone it to O&I. It has a PIN number of 005868. If you look north of the property, it's R10 vacant. If you look south of the property, it's A1 Presley residential farmland. If you look east, it's O&I A1 farmland. If you look west, it's I1. It's a cemetery and farmland to the west, heading back towards Brooklyn Boulevard, I believe. The existing zone districts R10. Our R10 district is defined as medium-density residential areas of most single-family dwellings in certain open areas where similar residential development will likely occur. The uses permitted in this district are designed to stabilize and protect all activities of a residential nature, except certain homes' occupation controlled by specific limitations. I owe and I what Mr. Varnell is asking for on behalf of 3MR LTD Partnership is defined as a certain land use area where structures that provide accommodations usually medium or high density. The district is normally small, but include older homes undergoing conversion. The district is usually situated between business and residential districts, and the regulation designed to permit development and ameliorate functions and still protect and be compatible with the nearby residential districts. Our 2021 Town of Nashville Comprehensive Plan considers this land on our future land use maps as low-density residential. Low-density residential includes detached single-family dwellings, manufactured homes, agricultural, forestry, parks, assembly gatherings, schools. Similar rural uses such be allowed. Classification for density is 1 to 3 acres. Preferred use is single-family dwellings and institutional uses. If you look at the map right here showing that this property is R10 and showing everything around it is ag, if you look at our next map on our future land use, you see that it is slated for low density. The project history for this project was Mr. Varnell with Stocks Engineer representing 3MR LTD Partnership. His applicant requested to rezone the total 9 acres at the above said location. The rezone application was received on December 9, 2024. Public hearing notice letter was mailed out to approximately 35 property owners within a 500-foot radius on December 6. The rezoning sign was posted on the property on December 6, 2024, and photos were taken. Please see below. Legal notice was advertised in Nashville Graphic on December 26, 2024, January 2, 2025, and for the planning board and town council public hearing meetings. The front door town hall was posted on December 6th. Town website was updated on December 10th, 2024. The Harold D. Cooley Library and Parks Recreation Center in town Nashville was posted on their front door December 6th. The subject property is not located within a floodplain. The subject property is located in the Tar River Reservoir, Tar River Watershed, and the Upper Tar Sub-Watershed. The subject property is located in NCDQ Water Supply Watershed, WSIV NSW. The town of Nashville future land use map does have this slated for low density. Reasonableness and spot zoning. The general rezoning request 2024-05 may be considered reasonable in the public interest because the request is not spot zoning, because the subject property will be rezoned for residential use and development similar to other adjacent properties to the north, south, west, and east. Approval of this request will permit future development that mirrors existing land use surrounding the proposed property. The town of Nashville O&I zone district is the least intensive versus conditional rezoning, which only gives the developer a limited choice of uses. TRC recommendations, none were made this time right now. And the reason why none were made because the owner's just asking to rezone this property. He has no future development for it, no future plans for it. He just thought right now this would be the perfect time to get a rezoning of this property. Last evening, the planning board did meet. Board member Ross Strickland made a motion to request a rezoning. It was because it was best in the public interest and not considered spot zoning for recommendation from the planning staff report. The motion was seconded by board member Walter Harper, and the motion passed unanimously. Mayor, we can open up the public hearing on this, but as I stated earlier, the owner has no future plan of development right now that has been proposed to the town. He just wanted to rezone the property because he thought it'd be best interest to rezone now due to the other property neighboring him would have been rezoned O&I. I will yield back to you, Mayor, for the opening of the public hearing, and then we will come back for deliberation and discussion.
Do I hear a motion that we go into a public hearing?
So made.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone that would like to speak to this, this rezoning parcel along Old Bailey Highway? Any council have any questions? Do I hear a motion to come out of the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So at this time, we need, I need a motion do I hear a motion to approve the 9 acres along Old Bailey Highway on the southern of Nashville from R10 to O and I, or to deny it?
Right, and also adopted the statement of consistency that the planning board did adopt last night for this rezoning.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's currently R10.
Correct.
The future land use map said it was going to be low density, which is even larger lots than R10, correct?
Right, correct.
So we anticipated like an R30. Would that be considered low density?
We could have, but I think the owner knows going with O and I, it gives him better flexibility to market because of course.
No, I'm just asking what, I guess, what
Right.
low density would be considered.
No, this would be your bigger lots, your R, bigger than your R10s, because you want to get more acreage out of them, your A1 district, stuff like that.
Just want to put it out there that I would love to have some larger lot properties that
I
are
know.
residential. It would be fantastic.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 We have what, one no?
That's aye.
Aye, okay.
Reluctantly.
Very reluctantly.
Yeah.
Maybe that will encourage them to do larger lots and larger homes.
All they get is multifamily hooked apartments and condos.
No. The
Great
next
counsel,
item on
thank
our, thank you, Sean. The next item on our agenda is budget amendments. Tressa, our finance officer.
Good afternoon. I'm before you to present two budget amendments. Budget amendment number 12 in FY '24. The town budgeted $19,404 to purchase new Christmas decoration, 28 presidential snowflakes. The Christmas decorations were picked up November 25th, 2024, and paid for. Budget amendment number 12 increases revenues and expenses for FY '25 by $19,404.
Do I hear a motion to approve that budget amendment?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Budget amendment is approved.
Budget amendment number 13. This budget amendment recognizes new Parks and Rec revenue for FY '25. $1,266 was donated from Nashville Pickleball Club for the pickleball courts at Glover Park. $2,500 grant from the Leon Carter Foundation
Yes.
for Bricks Builders Lego Club. $2,000 sponsorship from Hedgepeth Hudson Insurance for the FY '24-25 movie series, and $10,000 grant from Nash County Music for Nash County Music at the Farmers Market. Budget amendment number 13 increases the revenues and expenditures by $15,766.
Do I hear a motion to approve this budget amendment?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much, Tressa. And then the last item on our agenda, we received, and it's for us to decide if we, it's the league's priority list of things that they want the League of Municipalities to see if they agree with the list of their goal statements. And so they asked us what we thought, so we need to decide what we want to recommend for the goal statements. So why don't we just go through them and see? You think that would be best?
Sure.
How
First-
many recommend number one, expand funding opportunities for disaster resiliency and recovery efforts? What?
I did mine a little differently. So I mean, I did a 1, 2, and 3, and that's a 2.
That's,
I mean,
okay.
So I don't know.
Okay, well, how many, well, let's go on through and then we'll put them in order.
Yeah.
Number two, establish long-term funding streams that adequately address water, sewage, stormwater, transportation, and other infrastructure needs. That was my number one.
Yes.
Number,
I do have a question, though. Like, do we have any further information on this? One of my things that I was just asking was how is this funding going to be generated, and then how is allocation of it determined?
We don't have the details on it.
Okay.
This is a goal. The lobbyists for the league will do what they do to try and get legislation that addresses these things. What that looks
Right.
like.
I don't know, is it increased taxes? Is it a grove of money trees that we?
So all the towns are going to pick their top, and then the league's going to take that information and go and lobby for the top picks. Is that
If
my
we pick
understanding?
the top
Okay.
three we want, and then Tarboro picks ones, they're gonna take the ones I understand that get the most
majority,
majority
yeah.
of
Most
votes.
votes, yeah.
Okay, the next one, expand state transportation funding streams for construction and maintenance of municipal and state-owned secondary roads.
I
Yes.
chose that one.
That was high on my
How
list.
many chose that? Okay,
Maybe, yeah, because I have to keep up with these, but if
Okay.
you raise your hand and that way I can
Oh,
keep
you
better.
do?
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
okay, go back to, you want us to go back to number one? Would that help you?
That would probably.
Okay, who voted for number one as a top priority?
That was one of my maybes.
That was
Okay,
maybe for me too.
number two,
That was, yeah.
number three that I just read. Okay, the next one, increase funds to remediate contamination in local water supplies.
So does that affect us?
You know, the PFOBs, we haven't heard anything about from our lab. Or, you know, majority of our water comes from Rocky Mount, which gets it from the Tar River. I don't know if they're effectively filtering out the PFOBs. I know there are processes that do that. On a micro level, I don't know about size of Rocky Mounts, but again, I don't know.
That would be their responsibility, wouldn't it?
Well, if there are requirements set by
Eventually it's
EPA
gonna
or
come down- It's going to
NCDEQ,
trickle down to us paying for it, but
Yeah.
I guess
We just
I
get
didn't, I
fined.
didn't know that it affected us. I
But if it
hadn't
doesn't
heard
affect us, I
anything
tip my
about
hand back down on that one.
it. Right.
The next one, expand incentives and funding for local economic development. Create incentives to encourage the development of diverse housing options. And provide resources to rehabilitate or purchase blighted properties. Create incentives that encourage and adequately fund rezonalized water and sewer solutions. Reduce regulatory conflicts between state agencies that discourage voluntary consolidation, merger, and interconnection of municipal utility systems. And next, create an orphan road project. That sounds so sad, an orphan road program whereby the state improves those roads to North Carolina Department of Transportation standards before municipalities assume maintenance responsibility. How many roads do we have?
we don't, but one you might think of is Avett Lane.
Yep. That's what I was
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
I mean, it's a private road, there's citizens on it. If you've ever driven it,
It's a bumpy
So
ride.
I mean, this said like a developer was supposed to do something and then they just left high and dry, but like what is the deal with that road?
it's a private
It's just
lane.
a private lane,
Yeah.
so no developer ever dropped the ball on it?
No,
Nope.
Okay.
It'd be like Cardinal Woods not going back to the last street in the subdivision and putting the
Right,
last coat
exactly.
on. That'd be an orphaned abandoned road.
I didn't think it was a high priority for Nashville.
No, yeah, if it doesn't affect us again, yeah.
Next, provide local revenue options beyond the property tax.
Yeah, I like that, but I also want to know
What
like
it
what?
is.
Yeah.
I mean,
To me, that sounds, that's kind of scary to me. That's why I'm raising on
right,
him now.
like, yeah,
Next, super technical assistant programs to assist municipalities with securing or maintaining grants or other necessary municipal resources.
3.
We're on,
What
next
page
to
on
the
the
last page.
I'm not sure what page it
The
is.
second one.
Okay. Good.
The next one, address the needs of a changing municipal workforce through state assistance that supports employee retention, including training and recruitment. And I sort of want to do that, but I don't want them all in our business. You know what I mean? That's what concerns me, is, you know, sometimes you can get too many people in your business, and they ruin a good thing.
One of the things in this that is very real possibility is a number of years ago, the state health plan included retirees. Well, at the time when you enrolled, if you didn't enroll your retirees, you didn't get to. And from now, they cut it off. This might open that back up. And what we've heard, you know, from our own employees is that health insurance after retirement, especially for police and fire, who are eligible to retire sooner than with full benefits, is really big
So,
and would help with retention. But again, it's going to take the lobbyists to formulate that.
okay, I'll
This is a
vote for
goal.
that one.
But is that really what this one is? Just
It
because
could be.
this says, training and recruitment tools.
Could be.
The truth of the matter is, we don't know really what
Right,
any of them
these
are gonna be.
Yes, okay.
And another thing about the training and recruitment tools, if you've ever looked at the classes y'all are offered, the classes that we're offered are very, very, very expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, very expensive. So we have people we want to go, but it's just not in our budget, is it?
Right.
So-
So would this help us with
And
that?
hopefully this would help.
Possibly. I mean, the way they
It sounds like someone's just going to come in and say, you should do these things
Yeah,
and spend
no.
this much
I
money
know,
on it.
it's sort of,
Maybe it'll
they're
provide
vague,
better
you know, it's
grades.
sort
Yeah.
of, you wonder, open the door,
That was a
let's see
maybe for
what's
me.
really behind
Right.
it. And the last one on that page is update the annexation petition thresholds to make voluntary annexations easier to initiate.
I put that. I'd like to have people
think
annex
that-
I'll
in.
give you an example on that one, because y'all were talking about Avent Lane.
Yeah.
They want to be annexed, but they.
You need 100%.
They need
And
100%
right now they
along
only
that
have-
road, and they're
But
not.
if we annex them, we're gonna have to pay for the road.
That is.
That's the negative.
But then we'll also get their tax dollars.
There's one house
Yeah, but
sitting
you
way
ain't talking
back
about three,
there.
you ain't talking about the three
It's
houses.
like eight.
Is it three?
You're talking about three houses, that's it.
I got to one and turned
Okay,
around.
all right. You
Gotta
can
think
take
about the
it
future,
all.
though.
Ain't no more people.
And on the last
Not owned by
page, preserve authority for extraterritorial jurisdiction to ensure that growth is well planned and investments by homeowners and business owners are protected. And the last one, protect the ability of municipal elected officials acting on behalf of local voters to determine election formats, districts, and other election matters currently under their purview. We don't have any say-so over that, really.
No.
Nope.
No.
I don't want to. No, the end. But anyway, so we did that, and that's the last item on the agenda and the last item on our first meeting of the new year. So,
Mayor,
any comments or questions?
being no further business, I move we adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye.
I did want to say a big thank you to the Braswell Family Farms. New Year's Eve was such a magical success.
I have heard so many positives, and it really is a great,
I've heard everybody say that was the best fireworks display they had seen.
it
in God knows how
was
long.
amazing.
I'm gonna be there next year.